Hey everybody, Z with the quest again. I got another rescue for you. This was the rescue that could not wait, and it was also in August. And it was a really serious situation, and we had no funds at all. And so I just hit up and posted it, and I couldn't believe it. It was like within 3 days we had the money we needed to go do this rescue, and uh, it wasn't really cheap. So there were things that we had to do that cost us a little bit extra. So anyway, we got it to happen. So here's how it went down. Um, I had posted for an emergency rescue, and people came through. Thank you, thank you. Um, this really couldn't wait. We had been watching a brothel that we knew was really bad, and we really wanted to do something about it, but it would cost money that we didn't have. When I say it costs us money, it's like we already empty our pockets as we do, right? And uh, you know, we get small donations and things like that. But when you're talking about like a $600 rescue, there's gasoline involved, there's travel, I mean, it's endless, and then the medical supplies and so on and so forth, and it just goes on and on. But I mean, I guess in comparison, that's nothing uh, in a lot of ways. But we just didn't have it. So anyway, that's what I was talking about. I just go on and on. I rambles too much, I know. Um, so there are a lot of these, and it is so hard to turn away. You have no idea how strong we have to be knowing what we know and having to choose who lives and who doesn't. Uh, I want to thank all of you, and especially the ones that I don't know if they want to be mentioned or not. But anyway, bless them. This brothel we were watching was in another shanty town, and of course, it was situated in a way with only one way in, one way out. Seems to be the theme here lately. But on the other hand, there was another way. Two of the volunteer nuns reported that this brothel had 21 kids being kept in cages again and were suffering terribly. It just seems like there's a trend here with the cages thing. We knew uh, that to pull this off, we would need distractions in town, several vans, caretakers, special medical supplies, and special equipment. It was gang-owned brothel, and at the time, it was not possible to make all of this happen. The nuns, the volunteers, continued to watch the place, gathering all possible intel so that when we could make the rescue, we would be ready. The thing was that the nuns had reached the point where they could no longer bear witness to the abuse and torture of these kids, uh, what they were going through. They uh, they could not bear another body being removed from this brothel. So a day before the rescue, two of them entered and were trying to get the girls out when they were confronted by the two guards. The guards beat them and then dragged them through into the street by their hair. Then it happened. Uh, then it happened. Those that had remained silent for fear of retaliation, the locals that were around there, you know, you hear nothing, you see nothing, and you say nothing. Uh, and I mean, that's just the way it works in these places because you got to live there, right? And we have to take so many things into consideration before we even do one rescue. I would bore you to death with all the things that we go through, culture, everything, who the neighbors are, and what's going on. But anyway, when the guards dragged these ladies into the street by the hair, they crossed a line. Not even these gangs can go that far. The street quickly filled with people yelling and throwing things, and some even grabbed hand weapons to get the guards away from them. The guards retreated to the brothel. The people from the shops and homes took in the nuns and cared for them. The tension was very high on the streets, and the people were wondering about what to do next. Fear of retaliation would creep back into them. I knew if we were to do this, we had to do it right now. That is why I asked for the funds like I did. Uh, we couldn't we could have done it anyway, but I did not think it would be safe for us or any of the others involved in this rescue. We could have, caused a lot more trouble than we would have cured. But I knew the nuns were especially in trouble because they were both hardheads, and we're not going to leave this one alone. Thanks again to all of you that did all you could. We began to move fast and via Viber, on the phone. We set the plan. We were working on putting it all together within a few hours. It seemed impossible. We got several caretakers, 2 nurses, and additional medical supplies we knew that we would need. Don't ask me how, but I asked, and we got more than expected. Just like this whole event, it was incredible. But anyway, then we got to the nuns that some of the people had been caring for. They were okay, just some bruises, cuts, and one had a broken rib. We got them out of there, but not without a lot of resistance from them, as you can imagine. I knew they were in danger as long as that they were there. We rented the vans under the guise of being a tourist group because we needed a more comfortable transportation, knowing that some of the kids, if not all, would need special treatment right away. We would do anything we had to do to keep them alive while on transport. We had 7 teammates on the short notice, but it would have to do. We brought in to the fold many volunteers. We don't normally do this due to exposing them to the danger and exposure and the lack of skills that they have in this type of situation. We found a work truck and chains that could be used to remove the back wall. Like I said, we would not need more than the front door. We would make our own. That way we could move out faster when we had the kids. With the brothel on a one-way in and one-way out street, we knew with bringing in all the vans, volunteers, that it could go wrong very fast. The one thing we did have going for us was that the people on the streets were not so quiet now. We set up 3 distractions in town away from the target, so we would keep the locals busy. 2 teammates would enter from the front, put the guards to sleep, and remove any customers. Once in, they would notify our truck driver to move in along with the vans waiting nearby. From the back, there were several streets that would allow us to leave the area with our precious cargo safely. We had a few safe houses ready and spotters on each route, watch for shadows. The commander called me when he was all ready. She would stop, or she would be atop a building where she had the best advantage to spot anything that might go wrong. We had another sub-commander on the backside in open contact with the first commander. We were set, and I gave the order to move. It was swift. We had planned 10 minutes for this one, including any complications. The teammates took care of the 2 guards and gave the go for the back entry. We backed the truck up to the wall of sheet metal, hooked it up, pulled it off, making it very easy. It was it really is not that uncommon for this kind of construction noise, so no one really paid much attention. The 5 teammates entered the back and used bolt cutters on some of the cages. They secured the location and called in the vans and the volunteers to assist. We quickly removed all 21 scared kids, but they did not fight us. After each van was full, they left, taking several different routes out of town. Total time was 7 minutes, and I don't think anyone paid any attention, anyone of any importance anyway. We ended up using all 3 safe houses, and it was very busy in each. At this point, 4 team members were able to meet up with us to provide extra security. This brothel was as horrible as we have ever seen. All the girls will recover, but most were infected and were immediately treated. Some of their injuries would be everlasting, but most would heal with time. Their stay at the safe houses was longer than expected, but it would soon be over. They are all now in new spaces and have had just created with other friends we had just brought over there. So anyway, I cannot really explain what happened on the front of making this happen. It was completely unusual, but yet it was. We could not have done this unless it happened like it did. I knew we had a very short window with the need for many things, but I just did not see it happening like it did. We needed funds. I asked and we got it. We needed medical professionals and we got it. We needed vans and tools and we got it. We needed thoughts and prayers and we got them. We also got other things that made it a lot easier. I'm not asking how or why it happened as it did, but it brings me to my knees to be so thankful to all of you. Without you, it would never have been possible to change the world at that moment. There have been so many times that I didn't tell you about when we were not able to make it happen. Those events weigh heavy on all of us that are out there in the field when we're rendered helpless. That's all I can say. At times we are only able to witness, but maybe it's to give us strength to do it when we are helped on both sides of life. Anyway, bless all of you, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We had to do this one, and we got it done. We are the Quest, ECSS, and we will end child sex slavery with all of you. It takes all of us, not one of us, but all of us. So rescued was 21 more, and that gives us a grand total of 1,648. Thank you. The Quest, ECSS.